the microphone or their phone is on, and I haven't yet. Not really. It was more of just like every time I see Logan Paul in WWE, it just reminds me of Joshua, the clone of a Shadowhawk. Every time I see him, it reminds me of that kid. It's like freaking Logan Paul paid so much money to be in WWE. It's like whatever Joshua does and pays for to be in, it's literally exactly the prime example of that. And it's just every time I see him, it's like I get what they're trying to do. They're doing it to make him to get eyes on WWE, to get people to talk about WWE no matter what. That's what gets attention if he's in it. And that's cool. And everybody can feel how they feel about him. They can forgive him, you know, off his thing and, you know, all the good he's done and the prime drink. And prime, I've had prime. It's not amazing. Prime isn't all that. You know, the only reason that I actually tried prime to begin with is because of KSI. It's because of freaking that's the only reason that I cared about prime. And then once KSI said he was chill with Logan Paul, I was like, okay, that's a little, you know, I don't know about that, but you know, do what you do. But it's every single freaking time. It's like we get that you think you're better than you actually are, but it's like, dude, like, oh my, this is every time I see him, it's like you shouldn't be there. This is not what you do. This is not your profession. Like, okay, sure, he has a background in wrestling. Okay, sure, he's you know, little less than decent at it. But I mean, like, I don't know. I just don't think that he's at that point where, you know, he should be there. Like he needs to do a lot more other things before, you know, maybe making an appearance, but not, you know, being there and then making him champion. I get that also, you know, generates people to watch it and generates, you know, just all that stuff and makes people, you know, talk about it and stuff. But I mean, if they're only doing it for a little bit, all right, that's fine. It's just every time I see him, it's like you paid to be there, bro. You don't have the experience. You don't have any of that. You either used money or acted a certain way just to get to that spot, and you still don't know what you're doing now that you're there. It's these types of little things, you know. And every time I see him, it's like it reminds me of Joshua because he thinks he would be, you know, good enough to be there. He thinks he's good enough to do all that. How can you say that you're better than me as a pro player at this time, 2020, in Modern Warfare 2019, and you pull out a marksman rifle? You don't even pull out a sniper rifle. Being a FaZe fanboy, I would expect something like that. But him being him, I would expect nothing less. Do it the easy way. Use your advantages. So, doing that, you know, all the way across the states have to have the best setups, have to have the best internet, all that. There's no way he could lose this. There's no way this could go wrong. There's absolutely no way. Then we 1v1'd. He lost to someone that has not played a single pro match. Me. He lost to someone so bad that he deleted the upload, he deleted the live stream. You cannot come back from that. I'm not going to 1v1 him ever again because that just proved and shown enough. He can talk about, you know, 2 years later after me beating him, since apparently he's better. But you can't be better than someone that showed you Call of Duty. You can't be better than someone who showed you content creation. You can't just get better. Matter of fact, you can't best, you know, your creator. It just doesn't work out like that. You know, especially when I'm even saying still now, how many years later has he been on YouTube? Like what, 8, almost 10 years, and he still has not gotten to the basic levels yet. It's just it's something else. But this this just every time I see Logan Paul, I'm like, okay, you shouldn't be there. It's just not like, okay, you can have your wrestling background or whatever, but there's a whole thing that goes into it. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. Every time I see Logan Paul on WWE, and it's crazy. It's just crazy, you know. A lot of the stuff he says, but then I beat him in most of the stuff that he even brought up. Why is this even brought up? Now, I can understand if he doesn't have as much people that like him, as much fans, as much people that talk about him. I'm gonna move this actually. As much people that are in his audience, as much people that so on and so forth. And if he's too worried about other people, he's obviously not at the point that he says he's at. I mean, like, come on now, that just contradicts it. Simple thinking. And if you can't think about that, and if you didn't think about that, well, there you go. And if you weren't able to, then it goes to show how many people actually care about his channel out of the 2,000. And it's under 100. It's under 50. And I'm talking about, like, people that comment that are actually, like, super fans. We're talking about under 20. Maybe under 15. There's probably, but most of them are all family and, like, friends from school and all that. So, I don't know. It's just every time I see him, I'm like, I gotta skip this. I instantly pick up the remote and start skipping on the freaking thing, and it's just funny. So if he's better than me, then I'd love to see a diss track. If he's better than me, I'd love to see him, not no one else. He can send another little 10-year-old, 9-year-old to do a diss track if he wants to. But I'm talking about him, Joshua F. I'm talking about him. He needs to do, or the Hawk, Alpha Shadow Hawk clone, and calls himself Hawk, which is very stupid because he says it's his own thing. It literally is one of the names that are in the gamer tag that I made. It has to be him. If he's better than me at everything, or better than me, then just show me. You want to talk about having better content than me? You know what that content includes? My music. So go for it. You've been in a booth before. So, there's just nothing I need to say here. There's nothing. But yeah, I just love how other people talk for him, like, every single time too. And when these other people talk for him, they don't even talk to me. He has me blocked on all social media platforms. You can never be better than me, so suck it up.